Part 103. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi-Sing Cao. Chapter 1023. 1021. Time passed quickly, and the day came for He Tian to report to the national team. In the national team, He Tian met several familiar faces. This time the Yanjing Sports Bureau has achieved good results, and several good prospects have been selected by the national team. When Sci-fi saw He Tian, she immediately waved and asked He Tian to sit next to her. There will be an athletes meeting later. Sci-fi has a bad relationship with Jiaolihong and Cai Fenfang, so they sit a little far away, but she is too lonely alone, so she always leaves a place for He Tian and the two of them sit together. You came so early, He Tian smiled. How long until the meeting? This was the first time for a meeting here, and He Tian took it very seriously, so she came over after being notified. There are still a few minutes. You came just in time, Sci-fi said. Your grades are very good. I will probably praise you by name. Haha, He Tian smiled. We will work harder in the future. By the way, Sister He, I remembered what you said to me last time. I thought about it carefully when I went back and thought I should read more. After I retire, I will go to college, Sci-fi said. Having no family background, she works hard on her own, gets a diploma or a major, gets a good job, and does well. He Tian thought for a while and said, You are about to become an adult. Think about it carefully and make a careful decision. If you have any difficulties, you can come to me. Yeah, thank you, Sister He. Sci-fi was envious and grateful to He Tian, but she was not jealous of He Tian in her heart. Sister He's good grades are due to her talent and hard work, and she can't be jealous. She can keep up with those efforts, but talent is innate. In this case, instead of being jealous, it is better to envy and make friends. Not far away, Jiaolihong and Cai Fenfang were sitting together. Lihong, that old woman is here. Cai Fenfang nudged Jiaolihong, who was looking towards the male team members, with her elbow to remind Jiaolihong. Old woman? Is that He Tian here? Jiaolihong turned around and followed Cai Fenfang's eyes to look at He Tian. Today, He Tian was wearing a light blue dress and small white stiletto sandals. Her hair was spread over her shoulders, black and smooth. Wearing a platinum necklace around her neck and a delicate and compact diamond watch on her wrist, He Tian's arms continued to shine. The results last time, anyway, as long as He Tian and Jiaolihong participated at the same time, He Tian came first and Jiaolihong came second. This made Jiaolihong very upset. If there was no He Tian, then she would be the champion. Her results are also better than those of the champion of the 1984 Olympics, and she is very likely to win the championship of the 1988 Olympics. But there's no sweetness there, it's like a big mountain is pressing on top of your head. As soon as she comes, she comes. I have to go and greet her, Jiaolihong said angrily. Don't talk about that old woman in front of me in the future. She will make you upset when you see her. Cai Fenfang smiled and said, Okay, I won't talk about it anymore. But you see, she and Sci-fi have a good relationship. If we don't talk about them, maybe they are still talking about us. Jiaolihong looked again and saw Sci-fi and He Tian whispering to each other, talking enthusiastically. In fact, He Tian and Sci-fi were talking about going to college and what major was suitable for Sci-fi, but they did not mention Jiaolihong at all. Humph, Jiaolihong sneered, they're working together. Yes, we will ignore them from now on and wait and see, Cai Fenfang said with a smile. When it comes to the national team, it is not your uncle who has the final say. I will give you more resources in the future. As long as we play well, we will definitely be able to surpass that. So sweet. Jiaolihong nodded and said, That's natural. By the way, I was assigned to Coach Wang. My uncle said that he is the best swimming coach in the country. As for He Tian Tian, haha, it's still the follower Zhu's Hitayo. Yeah, if Zhu's Hitayo doesn't have the ability or experience, He Tianation's grades won't improve, Cai Fenfang said, agreeing with this view in her heart. Cai Fenfang is also relatively happy. Through Jiaolihong's relationship, she has also been assigned to an experienced butterfly swimming coach. I am very confident about future training and competitions. Some of the older generation athletes have retired, and some have slowly improved their performance, so Coach Wu is going to focus on the new athletes. This conference is just to hold a mobilization meeting for the newcomers. The time is up and everyone has arrived one after another. Director Jiao and Coach Wu are sitting on the rostrum in front. After that came Director Jiao's lofty speech, and then Coach Wu said some exciting words to encourage everyone. Then let athletes who have participated in the Olympic Games talk about their feelings and experiences at that time. Regarding the above speech, what the leader said, He Tian Tian simply ignored it. It didn't matter whether she listened or not, but what the athletes said, she listened carefully. These are experiences that may help her in the future. After the veteran athletes finished speaking, representatives of the new members of the national team went up to speak. For the female athletes, Coach Wu originally wanted He Tian Tian to speak, but Director Jiao settled on Jiaolihong. Thinking about the relationship between the two, Coach Wu was also very relieved. As long as it does not affect training and competition, Coach Wu will turn a blind eye to such backdoor openings. After all, he is only responsible for training. For other things, Director Jiao has to coordinate with the above. If the relationship between the two is not good, his work will not be easy to carry out. Jiaolihong went up to speak. Xie Fei was stunned, looked at He Tian Tian, smiled awkwardly, and said, "Sister He, I'm sorry, I heard it was you before, so I didn't think about changing." Haha, it doesn't matter, I'm past the age where I like to be in the limelight. He Tian Tian smiled, let her go, it doesn't matter, I just like swimming, not speaking on the stage. If I like speaking on the podium, I will continue to be a teacher. Haha, Xie Fei nodded, sister He is so funny. On the stage, Jiaolihong was high-spirited, a little nervous, but more excited. Her speech was obviously carefully prepared and had been read several times before. But when she inadvertently raised her head and looked at the athletes below, her eyes unconsciously looked towards He Tian Tian. She found that He Tian Tian did not look here, nor did she listen carefully. She seemed to be whispering to Xie Fei with her head lowered. This is disrespectful to her. It's really too much. Jiaolihong was confused and read two sentences wrongly. Ahem, Director Jiao coughed twice to remind his niece not to be distracted. Such a good opportunity cannot be wasted. In the future, if you get good grades and work in the sports bureau, it will be a matter of course. If you leave a bad impression on everyone, it will have repercussions. Jiaolihong quickly calmed down and continued to speak. After finishing speaking, he stood up and bowed to everyone. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 1024. 1022. The people in the audience were also very considerate and applauded one after another. He Tian Tian and Xie Fei applauded together. After that, of course we had a big meal, but in the cafeteria. It is said to be a big meal, but it is not a random meal. The first thing for athletes' food is to meet their training needs. As for the taste, I can only say that it is not bad, not delicious. He Tian Tian, Xie Fei, Zhu's Hitao, and two other athletes newly assigned to Zhu's Hitao. Coach Wu values Zhu's Hitao more, so he arranged good prospects for Zhu's Hitao. Needless to say, He Tianation's achievements. Xie Fei and the other two athletes transferred from other provinces are also very good. During the meal, everyone introduced each other under the auspices of Zhu's Hitao. The other two athletes looked at He Tian with great admiration and said, "Sister He, I am Lu Yuhua, from Shan Province." "Hello, Sister He, I am 11 Rong Rong, from Guangzhou." 11 Rong Rong said, "We will be in the same team from now on, please give me Sister He's advice." These days, they have come to the national team and have a certain understanding of him, especially since they had seen He Tian at the national swimming championships before and were deeply impressed. However, because He Tian has never been to the national team, they are even more curious about He Tian. He Tian smiled and said, "Guidance is out of the question. Let's work together in the future." Although she is the oldest here, she also knows that in the arena, what matters is not age, but hard work and talent. Sci-fi is a relatively lively person, and she quickly became familiar with several people. Since they are both girls, they agreed to visit He Tian's home during the holidays. He Tian readily agreed. "We are teammates now. Even if there is a competitive relationship, if we can get along well with each other, He Tian will be happy to do so." After all, He Tian came here to swim because he liked it, but it would be boring if he was in a bad mood because some people were looking for trouble. Zhu's Hitao was very happy to see a few team members who were of good nature. At the beginning, Coach Wu wanted to assign Jiao Lihong to his team, and he was still thinking about how to refuse. Unexpectedly, Jiao Lihong didn't like him at all, and instead chose Coach Wang, who had more experience. While Zhu's Hitao was relieved, he was still a little angry and secretly determined that he must work hard to cultivate more outstanding swimming talents in the future. Soon it will be the World Championships, and it is time for Zhu's Hitao to stand out. After that day, He Tian and the team members began regular training. He Tian is still the same, going home every day is just like going to school, with Wei Yuan protecting her, Kui Ying taking care of He Tian's body, and helping He Tian with some trivial matters. Even though Jiao Lihong had some criticism of He Tian, she dared not say anything in anger. Director Jiao once again reminded his niece not to mess around. This time, he also told his niece that the background behind He Tian was not something that the Jiao family could afford to offend. "Remember," Director Jiao asked, "don't mess around in the future, otherwise you will waste not only your talent, but also your future job opportunities." Jiao Lihong has obtained good results from her uncle and can work in the sports bureau after retiring. This is great news. Compared with other people who can only return to their original provinces after retirement, some people can be assigned to the sports bureau, and some people can only find other jobs, which are simply not as good as her bright future. "Thank you, uncle, I understand. I won't provoke that old woman in the future." Although Jiao Lihong promised not to provoke He Tian, she still called He Tian an old woman in private to vent her hatred. Director Jiao frowned like this, but he thought that his niece was angry and if she didn't let her vent, she might not be able to help but cause trouble in the future. "Okay, say this in front of me, don't say it outside, so as not to make people laugh," Director Jiao reminded. "Win over the surrounding team members, maybe they can be your help in the future. If you are proud of other people, not only will it not be your help in the future, it will become your stumbling block." Jiao Lihong sneered. Her stumbling block in the entire national team was that old woman He Tian. She must work harder and make that old woman quit. Sports competition cannot rely solely on talent, but is also subject to age restrictions. Her potential must be greater than that of He Tian. "Yes, uncle, I took note of it," Jiao Lihong said. "I will definitely get along well with other team members, senior brothers and senior sisters in the future. In fact, if you get along well with most people, then you can virtually isolate that old woman." Thinking of this, Jiao Lihong felt happy. "That's good, Lihong, you are really talented. The championship and honor will belong to you." Director Jiao encouraged his niece, hoping that she could work harder and become an outstanding athlete. That way, he could support his niece. The life of the national team proceeds in an orderly manner. However, He Tian found that some people saw something wrong in their eyes. Kui Ying, there's something wrong with the other team members looking at me. Did someone say bad things about me? He Tian asked, being stared at by several people in the locker room. Kui Ying smiled and said, if a tree is beautiful in the forest, the wind will destroy it. I just went to ask. Cai Fanfang and other team members said that you are using your talent to suppress them and hinder them at such an old age. The way forward. Ah, He Tian was stunned, then smiled, although it sounds a bit unpleasant, it is actually true. Those medals don't mean much to me, but they mean a lot to them. Kui Ying didn't care and said, okay, since we are all here, we must do a good job. You train well, and I will handle the other things. Well, I'm sorry for bothering you, He Tian said gratefully. She was so happy to have a good friend by her side. After that, He Tian also got some gossip from Sci-fi 11 Wrong and Lu Yuhua. Although he was speechless, he didn't take it to heart. Sister He, aren't you angry? Sci-fi asked, if someone says that to me, I will definitely find someone to argue with me. He Tian smiled and said, the purpose of sports competition is to break through the limits of human beings, to be higher, faster, and stronger. These cannot be achieved by talking behind the scenes, they must be hard work and hard work pay. I am not young at all. I will choose to retire after participating in the 1988 Olympics. You are still young. There will be many opportunities in the future. Only by being open-minded can you see higher and farther places. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1025. 1023. Hearing He Tian's words, Sci-fi nodded and said, well, thank you Sister He for teaching us. In front of Sister He, I am willing to be the second child for 10,000 years, as long as my speed is not slowed down too much by Sister He. Not only in the usual training, but also in the occasionally organized competitions, He Tian's freestyle and breaststroke results have always been far ahead, while Sci-fi and the other two have been hovering in the second or third place. Although Jiao Lihong's performance was good, it was not enough in front of He Tian. Then let's pursue going faster together, He Tian said, walking and training. Sci-fi 11 Wrong and Lu Yuhua have now positioned He Tian as the goal they strive to surpass. With this goal, the three of them have made great progress, forming a virtuous cycle. But under Coach Wang, not only did Jiao Lihong have good grades, but the other players were also good. This made Jiao Lihong always in danger, and she often made trouble for those team members in private. Because of Director Jiao, others dared not speak out. The selection for the World Championships is about to take place, and not everyone can participate, especially in such a world-class competition. Within the national team, selection is required at all levels. He Tian's results were outstanding. Not surprisingly, he qualified for the competition with excellent results. Sci-fi is also good, and 11 Wrong and Lu Yuhua also have good results and have their own quotas. Seeing such results, other coaches were very surprised. In just 2 months, the performance of Zhu's Hitao's athletes has improved significantly. Many coaches said something in front of Coach Wu, which annoyed Coach Wu, but he had to deal with them one by one in order to stabilize internal unity. Privately, Coach Wu called Zhu's Hitao over to talk and ask for details. Xiao Zhu, you are very good. For the first time, you have led 4 people, and the results have been greatly improved. Among all the coaches below, you are the only one who can allow all members to participate in the World Championships. The results are good, and we will continue to work hard in the future, Coach Wu said, and personally poured Zhu's Hitao a cup of tea. Zhu's Hitao quickly took it and said with a smile, "Thank you to the head coach for giving me the opportunity. The members below are also quite up to date. Can you tell me the reason for the substantial improvement in performance?" Coach Wu asked. He also wanted to know. If possible, he hoped to promote it to the whole team so that everyone could learn from it. Coach Wu is the head coach. No matter which team performs well, it is all due to him, so he doesn't care about it. Zhu's Hitao has always believed in fair competition, and there will be pressure and motivation only when there is competition, and he is not worried about speaking out, Coach Wu told others. Haha, there is a secret. Zhu's Hitao was very proud. Tell me about it, let me listen too. Coach Wu was very happy. It was rare that Zhu's Hitao didn't hide his secrets and had the air of a general. Zhu's Hitao nodded and said, "It's actually very simple. It comes from a small story. During the process of transporting fish, a few big fish that eat small fish were put in the water tank. Under the pressure of the big fish, the small fish exerted their potential and kept moving. People are using this method to reduce the mortality rate of fresh fish during transportation." Coach Wu was stunned for a moment, then understood, and said, yes, it does make sense. That He Tian Tian is the big fish, and the next three are the small fish. You let them target He Tian Tian and form a virtuous cycle. Yes, Zhu's Hitao nodded, that's how it is done, and the effect is good. Teacher, he is also a smart person. He is worthy of being a teacher before. The three girls below especially listen to her words, and she promises that if her condition has been maintained, and she will retire after participating in the 1988 Olympics. In this way, the following three athletes are still young and will have more opportunities in the future, so they will work harder while He Tian Tian is here. I also understand the importance of fair competition, which is why the results are so good. After hearing this, Coach Wu nodded and said, yes, it does make sense. But everyone understands the truth, but internal relations are not easy to handle. Hey, it's difficult. Xiao Zhu, you have to work hard to win over your athletes. You can get more results. Yes, head coach, I will try my best. Zhu's Hitao nodded, not only to repay the head coach's respect, but also for his future. Now that he is married and has a family, he has to work hard to support his family. Just because your wife is rich, you can't stop working hard. Even if he doesn't make much money, he still needs to have honor so that he can have face in front of his wife and make his wife feel proud when introducing him outside. Time flies quickly and the World Championships are held in Madrid, Spain. He Tian Tian is about to leave. Grandma Wang, Yingzhe, I will leave the house to you. He Tian Tian said, I will be back after the game. It's rare for you to go out, so you can play for a few days. Huo Yingzhe smiled. He liked He Tian Tian by his side, but he also knew that the outside world was big and he wanted her to go out and see and walk around. Following the national team is a very good opportunity. Otherwise, because of his relationship, He Tian Tian would have very few opportunities to go abroad, almost none. He Tian Tian thought for a while and said, Grandma, father, mother, and brother will go to Europe, and we will probably get together then. Well, then you can get together more often. After all, your mother's family is abroad and it's rare to see them. Grandma Wang said, you don't have to worry about the children at home. Summer vacation is only half a month away, otherwise I really want to take them with me. He Tian Tian was a little reluctant, after all, she couldn't see her children for 20 days with the bonus. Huo Yingzhe smiled bitterly. He didn't dare to let his child go abroad. Because of his relationship, Country H has developed a lot of internationally advanced military materials, and other hostile forces already know about it. If you can't deal with him, you might deal with his family just like that time. Okay, anyway, you will be back soon when they have a holiday. Then, we will take them to travel within the country. Huo Yingzhe said and made arrangements. Yeah, he Tian agreed, and then said goodbye to the children. The children were very sad to hear that they could not go to watch their mother play. Mom, I will definitely take photos for you, he Tian said. I will take a lot of photos and buy you clothes and toys, okay? The children are very sensible. Even Huo Xiaosan was very well behaved today. He hugged He Tianation's neck tightly and said with a milky voice, Mom, bring me something delicious. Okay, I'll bring them all to you, He Tian said happily, kissing Huo Xiaosan. They want to kiss Huo Ruiman and Huo Ruwa again, but these two little guys have grown up and are a little resistant to He Tianation's loving kiss. This made He Tian disappointed, but she also knew that this was a necessary stage for children to grow up. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 1026. 1024. Huo Yingzhe went to see He Tian off in person, and at the same time told Kui Ying and Wei Yuan to protect and take care of He Tian. At the airport, Huo Yingzhe and He Tian reluctantly said goodbye. In the team, in order not to affect training, dating is not allowed, but He Tian is not only in love, but also married, which is considered a special case. The man is tall and handsome, and the woman is delicate and charming. That was when Zhu's Hitao and Yuan Hua got married, but the coach and some athletes met He Tianation's husband Huo Yingzhe. Now in front of so many people, Huo Yingzhe kissed his wife regardless of everyone's attention. They wanted to see it, but they were a little embarrassed, and their faces were all red. They were about to board the plane. Huo Yingzhe was a little reluctant to see He Tian get on the plane. Huo Yingzhe just left through the special passage. When we got to the plane, everyone found their seats and waited for takeoff. Shameless, kissing in front of so many people is offensive, Jiao Lihong whispered, looking at He Tian from time to time. If He Tian, that old woman's man, was ugly, maybe she wouldn't be so angry, but that man was so good-looking, so capable, and had such a good background. She is also beautiful, why doesn't she have such a suitor? Cai Fenfang was also very envious. At that moment, she imagined herself as He Tian. Now it seems that she is not the only one who has such thoughts. Yeah, it's shameless, Cai Fenfang said, look at those male team members, they're still blushing. They're so red. They're shameless. Jiao Lihong nodded and said, yes, yes. Although the people sitting around them felt that Jiao Lihong and Cai Fenfang scolded He Tian for being shameless, they had nothing to do with He Tian, and they did not stand up for He Tian. As for He Tian, he had sharp ears and eyes and heard the conversation between the two. But He Tian didn't care about these two narrow-minded people and just thought they were jealous. My husband is so good, you are just jealous. It was not a very comfortable takeoff at the beginning, but after the plane reached the stratosphere, it became stable. He Tian was a little sleepy. Last night was too crazy and she needed to catch up on her sleep now. He Tian went to bed, and Jiao Lihong over there, Cai Fenfang felt boring, so she stopped talking. The plane transferred in France and finally arrived in Madrid, Spain. The Spanish organizers had arranged accommodation in advance, and Coach Wu took them directly to their residence to let everyone have a good rest. Go get familiar with the venue tomorrow. He Tian and others had just packed up their things when they heard Coach Wu call her name. Head coach, did you call me? He Tian came out, and when he saw the people around Coach Wu, they were all stunned. Dad, Mom, why are you here? Haha, we came over after receiving your letter, just in time to see you, Wang Shuping said with a smile. Your grandmother is sitting outside. We have agreed with your head coach to let you go out for a while and not eat randomly. Just something. He Tian nodded repeatedly and said, thank you, head coach. I will definitely not eat outside and go back to the team for dinner. Well, go ahead, Coach Wu said with a smile. We will have dinner at 6 o'clock and have a meeting at 7 o'clock. You can make up your own time. Yeah, He Tian looked at her watch. There's still an hour and a half, I'll be back on time. Coach Wu, please don't worry, we are at the hotel opposite and we won't go far, He Jingyu said, assuring Coach Wu. Coach Wu nodded and asked He Tian to follow. Under the protection of bodyguards, He Tian followed her parents to the hotel opposite. Grandma was already waiting for him in the room. Sister, you are awesome. When He Daodu saw his sister come in, he ran over like a cannon. This younger brother is 11 years old. Maybe because he has better nutrition, he is almost as tall as He Tian. He Tian patted her younger brother on the shoulder and said, "Hey, my Daodu has grown up. He used to be able to touch his head, but now he can only pat his shoulders." Humph, He Daodu was a little arrogant in front of his sister. "Next time you see me, you will probably have to hold my arm." He Daodu is very close to his own sister. Although the two did not grow up together, they exchanged close letters. He Daodu, a child, doesn't tell his parents what's on his mind, but he also tells He Tian. Two people can talk about everything. "Okay, Daodu is the best." He Tian smiled and said, "Grandma, thank you for your hard work. You came to see me specially." "Haha, just think of it as a vacation." Bai Qianjiao said, "I heard that you wanted to be an athlete. I was surprised. I didn't expect that your results were so good. With you, many impossible things have become possible." While Bai Qianjiao was happy, she was also puzzled and curious. He Tian smiled and said, "Actually, it's very simple. Because I like it and have some talent, I just did it. Besides, my properties are managed by dedicated people. I just need to send someone to supervise and audit the accounts. I don't have to worry about it. My kids are getting older and I just want to do something I like. Fortunately, Brother Yingjia and my friends are more supportive." "Well, we support you too." Bai Qianjiao smiled, "Your father is very happy, and we came here to cheer you on." "Does winning the championship mean that you can participate in the Olympics?" "Yes." He Tian nodded, "When the time comes, I will give everyone a gold medal." "Sister, are you too loud?" He Daodu muttered. Although he would cheer for his sister, he didn't believe that his sister could win so many gold medals. "You brat, just wait and see." He Tian said, "I'll let you see how powerful I am in 2 days." Okay, He Daodu said proudly, "If you win the gold medal, I believe you have such ability." He Tian twisted his ears and said, "Remember, your sister's other name is Miracle." Haha. Although He Daodu had his ears twisted, he still didn't believe it. "If you win the championship, I will believe that you are called a miracle." "Okay, it's a deal." He Tian glared at He Daodu, "Open your little mung bean eyes. You should be convinced by my results." He Tian is very confident. With so many projects, she can always get a gold medal. "Sister, my eyes are not small." He Daodu retorted. He Jingyu and Wang Shuping both had double eyelids. Their children, He Tian, had big double eyelids, but He Daodu had narrow single eyelids and narrow eyes. "Haha, it depends on who you compare with." He Tian teased his younger brother, who hated being told that he had small eyes. When the two siblings wanted to meet each other, He Tian would use this move to attack He Daodu every time after exposing each other's shortcomings. He Daodu gets very angry every time. Bai Qianjiao, He Jingyu and Wang Shuping beside them saw that two children with such a big age difference could still quarrel. The sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1027. 1025. Alas, I have to lament the peculiarity of bloodline. Even though they haven't seen each other for a long time, they are still very close to each other. However, this was because his parents and grandmother often talked about He Tian in front of He Daodu, so He Daodu often heard news from his sister, and also exchanged letters with each other, so there was no barrier. He Daodu pulled his sister to talk to the side, but He Jingyu and Wang Shuping couldn't get in the conversation. Seeing that an hour had passed, He Daodu still didn't stop, and He Tian still wanted to talk to her grandmother and parents. Little classmate He Daodu, his grandmother and his parents are all nearby. I want to talk to them. After my game is over, we can have a good chat. Okay, He Tian said. By the way, it was summer vacation at that time. You can go back to China and my sister will take you to play in the country. He Daodu nodded repeatedly and said, okay, sister, I can't wait to go to the country to travel. Grandma, parents, how did you get through to our coach Wu? He Tian asked, because athletes are not allowed to act privately in the team. He Jingyu smiled and said, I know that the income of domestic athletes is low, and they cannot buy some souvenirs when they come out to compete, so I will sponsor a souvenir for each of your team, which can be regarded as supporting the country's sports industry. Oh, so that's it. He Tian nodded, that's not bad. Grandma, how are our cosmetics selling abroad? He Tian asked. It was only this month that a set of facial masks, facial cleansers, toners, whitening creams, hydrating creams, eye creams, isolation creams, foundation creams, etc. were released. A whole series. These are not all launched at once, but 1 or 2 new products are released every quarter, which has always caused a sensation in the fashion industry. Now the beauty series has become a high-end product. The price is high and the effect is very good. Very good. Bai Qianjiao said, your mother and I are using very good cosmetics. It has successfully promoted our brand from second rate to first rate, and has had a great impact in Paris and even the world. In the next 10 years, cosmetics will bring us huge profits within the year. He Tian nodded and said, Grandma, you will make money not just within 10 years, but within 20 years, or even longer. Bai Qianjiao smiled, glanced at He Tian, and said, then when you have time, let Yingzhe upgrade the formula. Well, that's natural. He Tian nodded. As for the outer packaging, change it frequently to get new ideas. Haha, don't worry about this, I will pay attention to it. Bai Qianjiao said, because our bottles are so beautiful that many people like to collect our bottles. By the way, perfume is also a good business. If possible, I would also like to get involved in this area. Okay, I'll talk to brother Yingzhe when I get back. He Tian nodded and left the research to Huo Yingzhe anyway. He can produce such rare military materials, let alone cosmetics. An hour and a half passed quickly. He Tian had to leave. Grandma, parents, Daodu, I have to go back, the team will have dinner soon. He Tian said softly, although he was reluctant to leave, he had to leave. For safety reasons, He Tian cannot eat or drink outside. An hour and a half left her mouth dry. Well, then you can go back. Anyway, we can still see each other in 2 days. Bai Qianjiao said, although she felt reluctant to part with her, she also knew that she could not force her to stay. Tian, when your game is over, Mom will take you to eat delicious food. Wang Shuping said distressedly, her daughter's lips were dry. Yeah, I will eat more when the time comes. He Tian agreed, and then said goodbye to everyone. He Daodu even sent his sister to the door of the hotel. When he saw her sister going in, he turned back. After He Tian returned, she happened to meet Sci-fi at the door of the room. Sister He, where are you going? We are going to have dinner soon, and we have a meeting tonight. Sci-fi said, just now she wanted to find He Tian. It's okay, just go out and meet my family. He Tian smiled, they came to watch my game. Sci-fi was envious and said, Sister He, you are so lucky. I flew here just to watch you compete. They are in the United States. It is relatively convenient to come here. He Tian replied, let's leave quickly. We are leaving late and we may not have food. Sci-fi snickered, He Tianation's appetite really surprised everyone in their team. One person can eat enough for 2 people. Wei Yuan and Kui Ying also followed, and He Tian paid extra and did not eat and drink for free. The food is carefully prepared by domestic chefs, including the ingredients, which have been inspected at all levels to ensure the safety of the food. He Tian ate the meal for two with the eyes of Sci-fi 11 Wrong and others. Sister He, I think your fast swimming may be related to how much you eat. There is a lot of energy in your body, and you are not fat, so it can only be converted into strength, Sci-fi said proudly. She had tried to eat more before. But what improved was not my performance, but my gain in weight, which almost made me overweight. Fortunately, Zhu's Hitao noticed it and reminded her, so nothing happened. Maybe, if you don't eat and you feel hungry, you won't have the energy. He Tian smiled. When I was an educated youth, there wasn't much food in the countryside. I was hungry, so I often went to the back mountains to hunt, catch rabbits, and catch rabbits. Pheasants. Once, I caught 2 big wild boars. Ah, I heard something from my elders. Sister He, you controlled 2 wild boars by yourself. Lu Yuhua's eyes widened and she couldn't believe it. He Tian smiled. Actually, it wasn't me who stopped me. It's just that those 2 big wild boars were chasing me, so I kept running and running in the back hill. Then when I saw them reaching the cliff, I suddenly turned a corner and hid in the grass. The big wild boar couldn't stop due to inertia and jumped into the pit and fell to his death. Sister He, you are so powerful. You can run faster than a wild boar, I said. Can you get a lot of meat from those 2 big wild boars? Yes, He Tian nodded. I went hunting when I couldn't eat enough. I finally filled my stomach and spent that time. He Tian occasionally thinks of the past, and at the same time misses the Snake King who has left. Snake King, that brat, left the human world and returned to the demon world. How is he doing now? She forgot to tell him that if she doesn't do well in the demon world, she can come to the human world. At least she can provide food and accommodation. Today's 10 updates are given with conscience. Please subscribe to the official version and give me a reward. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1028. 1026. It tastes good. He Tian ate very well today. We didn't feel acclimatized just because we went abroad. Everyone adapted very well. In this way, they are in good condition, which helps them devote themselves to training and achieve good results. After dinner at 6:30, everyone rested for a while and then went to the meeting. During the meeting, Ambassador Li, the ambassador of country H to Spain, came with his assistant, and the meeting was hosted by Coach Wu. The ambassador from country H to Spain should come over to have a swimming team. Especially this time, there are patriotic overseas Chinese sponsoring the national swimming team, and he was the one who made the connection. He can provide some benefits to athletes without spending his money. This is also one of his political achievements. In the future, these athletes will say that the 1986 World Championships were held in Madrid, Spain, and Ambassador Li there sent them condolences. Although the political achievements cannot be said to be great, it sounds good to say it. Ambassador Li said some words to encourage everyone, and brought all the sponsorship items for the athletes. The male athlete is a fashionable men's watch, and the female athlete is a women's watch. It is very exquisite. Although it is not very expensive, it is a local brand that is loved by local young people in Spain. The shape is very unique and beautiful. After that, there will be Spanish special red wine, as well as some Spanish specialties and other small parts. He Tian also got one, but He Tian didn't say it was sponsored by her parents. Sister He, this watch is so beautiful. I took it out and put it on her hand. Well, it looks good. He Tian nodded, but the competition is coming soon, so I'll wear it after the competition. What I'm saying is that if it gets wet, the watch will be damaged. I took it off her wrist and put it away carefully. 11 Wrong and Lu Yuhua also cherished it. Although their athletes also received wages, the wages were very low. How could they afford such things? I hope that after this competition, I can get some bonuses and rewards and improve the situation at home. Jiao Lihong and Cai Fenfang have put the watch on their hands and can't put it down. Even when she saw He Tian, Jiao Lihong had no intention of running against the old woman He Tian. The next day, they went to see the competition venue in the morning, and then went to the designated location to train. The third day is the opening ceremony. The Chinese delegation is stronger than before this year. Because of the Western blockade, the outside world does not know much about country H. Participating in sports events is a very good opportunity to show the Chinese style to the outside world. This is why He Tian is so old, but her results are very good and she may compete for the gold medal. Coach Wu rejected all opinions and allowed her to participate in the competition. Except for the World Youth Championship, which has an age limit, other events have no age limit. As long as you swim fast, the rest doesn't matter. Coach Wu looked at He Tian inadvertently, hoping that she could break the status quo of 0 gold medals for the Chinese swimming team in the World Championships this time. He Tian had strong senses. She looked at Coach Wu and smiled, saying that she would try her best. This time, He Tian signed up for 7 events. Freestyle 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, 1,500 meters. Another event is breaststroke, 100 meters and 200 meters. Finally, there is the 400-meter freestyle relay, which is a team event. The first one is Sci-fi, the second one is a female athlete named Yu Jingjing under Coach Wang, the third one is Jiao Lihong, and the fourth one is He Tian. Originally, Jiao Lihong wanted to swim the last leg because it was the most critical moment before the end. As long as she won the championship, she would be better than the 3 people in front of her. However, head coach Wu considered the overall situation and put He Tian last, with Jiao Lihong third. Jiao Lihong was not convinced and even went to Coach Wu to make a fuss. Coach Wu immediately told her that this was a team competition, and if she did not obey the arrangements, she should not go up, so as not to play with emotions and affect the overall score. Of course Jiao Lihong didn't want to be replaced. She couldn't miss such a good opportunity, so she could only grit her teeth and accept it. The game begins. From the very beginning of the draw and group competition, He Tian, not surprisingly, qualified first in the group stage. Sci-fi, 11 Wrong and Lu Yuhua also performed well. Sci-fi and 3 other people don't know much about those foreign athletes, but they want to chase Sister He and get one step closer to medals. Bai Qianjiao, He Jingyu, Wang Shuping, and He Daodu have watched almost every game of He Tian. Why come on Tian? Finally it's the finals. Coach Wu looked at the list of finalists with tears in his eyes. A total of 12 athletes reached the finals. There are 7 female athletes and 5 male athletes. Among them, He Tian's performance blinded all the coaches. Every project is a first. Oh my god. Even if you don't win the championship in all events, you can still win half of it and break the 0 record. Coach Wu patted Zhu's Hitao hard on the shoulder and said, "Well done, Xiao Zhu. 2 of your athletes have entered the finals. It's all because of the head coach's fancy and good guidance," Zhu's Hitao said with a smile, not to mention how happy he felt. Among female athletes, the best result is He Tian. Although he played a small role in guiding He Tian, it was nothing. Sci-fi had indeed made great progress under his guidance. "Haha, you are such a nice guy," Coach Wu smiled. "Go back and cheer up He Tian and Sci-fi, and strive to win the championship." "That's a must." Zhu's Hitao nodded. "I will definitely prepare for the competition in the best condition." Hidao cheers for her sister every day, and her voice is a little hoarse. However, every time she sees her sister, she will forget everything else. The 100-meter freestyle competition is about to start. In this event, only He Tiantian entered the finals, facing seeded players from other countries. He Tiantian was in the fifth track, and in front of a group of foreigners with long arms and legs, she was a little too short. At the beginning of the preliminary round, He Tianation's figure had been complained by many people, who thought that there was no one in Huaxia. Listening to the words around her, He Daodu was so angry that she wanted to fight with those people. Sister is awesome, and she didn't let He Daodu down. Sister used the first place again and again to refresh everyone's perception of this petite H country woman, and they were amazed. When his sister entered the finals, He Daodu ran to the man who had complained about his sister before and said, "Although my sister is small, she is full of strength in He Daodu's heart. His sister can do everything and is amazing. Anyone who says his sister is not good is his enemy." The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1029. 1027. The white man shrugged and finally understood why the kid not far away always looked at him with hostile eyes. It turned out that he had offended his sister unintentionally. "I'm sorry, I take back what I said before. You're right. Your sister is really amazing and full of power," the man said, apologizing to He Daodu. "It's okay, let's watch the game together," He Daodu said. "I want to cheer for my sister." Anyway, our Spanish players didn't make it to the finals, so I'll cheer for your sister," the man smiled and said to He Daodu. "Thank you," He Daodu said. "If my sister wins the championship, I'll ask her to sign for you." "Okay," the man smiled honestly. "It seems that no one in China can win the championship. I hope this beautiful Chinese woman can win the championship, then the autograph he gets will be very valuable." The game finally started. He Daodu was very nervous. On the contrary, He Tiantian was not nervous. She waved in the direction of her parents and then prepared for the game. As soon as the starting gun sounded, He Tiantian reacted very quickly and jumped into the water. This is what she is best at. She was focused and began to swing her arms and legs vigorously, always leading the way. When turning around, He Tianation's thighs were also very strong. So much food was not eaten in vain. Before, He Tiantian only surpassed others by half a body length, but now He Tiantian took the opportunity of turning around and directly surpassed the second place by one body length, and the distance was constantly increasing. Cheers from both sides came one after another. Coach Wu, Zhu's Hitao, and other athletes and staff were all paying attention to He Tiantian in the water. I hope He Tiantian can create a miracle for them, a miracle belonging to China. One way, it's only 100 meters. Freestyle is the fastest among all events, but at this time, in just a few dozen seconds, Coach Wu and Zhu's Hitao felt like they were spending seconds like years. It seemed that these few dozen seconds were so long. "Champion, champion, champion," Coach Wu muttered involuntarily. After hearing this, Zhu's Hitao wiped the sweat off his forehead and nodded, saying, "Champion, champion, champion." The other staff members were also secretly anxious. He Tiantian went all out, focused on the race, and used up all her strength. Her speed increased a little, and she was 2 steps ahead of the second place. Head coach Wu, Zhu's Hitao was even more excited. There are still 10 meters to go. He must hold on, hold on. He Tiantian arrived first. The display screen showed He Tianation's result, 51.56 seconds, breaking the world record and winning the 100-meter freestyle championship at the 1986 World Championships in Spain. Champion, champion, head coach Wu was excited, especially when He Tianation's result was announced to be valid. He stood up from his seat excitedly. At the World Championships, he finally broke the zero record of country H. He Tiantian came out of the water, and a Chinese swimming fan excitedly handed He Tiantian a bright 5-star red flag from outside, and shouted to He Tiantian, "Let everyone know that it is us Chinese who won the championship, and we Chinese are not the sick men of East Asia." Ah! He Tiantian was stunned. How come this line seems to be in a TV series? But the Chinese was very excited, staring at He Tiantian, and holding the 5-star red flag high in his hand. At this time, He Tiantian suddenly felt her eyes moist. She had not lived abroad for a long time, and she didn't know that foreigners looked down on Chinese people, but she had heard her father say it. Now there is such an opportunity to show up, even if He Tiantian is not such a person who likes to show off, this time for the person who held the national flag and burst into tears, she has to do something. He Tiantian stepped forward, took the bright, big 5-star red flag, held it high, and ran around the swimming pool. Because it was the end of the finals, there was still an hour before the next game, so she had time to rest and prepare. All the Chinese, Huaxia people, and even some real swimming enthusiasts present stood up and cheered loudly when they saw He Tiantian holding the 5-star red flag and running in the field. Head coach Wu and Zhu's Hitao celebrated with each other and finally won the championship. This is the World Championships, an event comparable to the Olympics. He Daodu was excited. Looking at her sister on the stage, she was very excited and shouted loudly. The big man next to her also applauded. After running a lap, He Tiantian gave the 5-star red flag to the Chinese again. Reporters from other countries took pictures of He Tiantian. The reporter from Xinhua News Agency was quick to take important photos. At the same time, Ambassador Li, who was following the sports events and was broadcasting live on the Spanish sports channel, heard that someone had entered the finals and specially called other staff to watch the game together. This is not leisure and fun, but part of their work. When they saw He Tiantian reach the finish line first and run a lap in the field holding the red flag, they all stood up immediately. Those of them who work abroad can especially understand the excitement at this time. "We will go to visit the champion at noon," Ambassador Li said excitedly, a little impatient. Ambassador Li's secretary was also excited, but she remembered that He Tiantian had other competitions, and if she went now, it might affect the athletes' rest. "Ambassador Li, He Tiantian still has several competitions. Let's wait until their competitions are over before going," the secretary said. "Athletes now need to take a good rest due to high-intensity competitions." Yes, you should have a good rest," Ambassador Li said. "Thank you for reminding me that we will go again after their competition is over." The Chinese took it and spoke excitedly and incoherently. It's great, sign it for me," the Chinese man said excitedly. His tone was a little urgent, and he took out a pen from his body. He Tiantian took it, but she did not sign the 5-star red flag. It was the noble 5-star red flag. She was unwilling to write on it. Instead, she wrote her name on the off-white flagpole. "Thank you, goodbye," He Tiantian smiled, waved her hands, and went down with the others. Zhu's Hitao stepped forward and said, "Teacher He, that's great. Don't worry, it will be better in the future." He Tiantian smiled. The excitement of the audience just now also infected He Tiantian, making her feel passionate. This is the charm of sports competition. Then there is the 200-meter freestyle race. This time, this project was also Sci-fi's finalist. When He Tiantian arrived backstage, Kui Ying gave He Tiantian some water to drink, and gave her a banana to replenish her strength. Then she gave He Tiantian a massage to stretch her muscles. The sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1030. 1028. The next game begins. He Tiantian unexpectedly won the championship again, while Sci-fi was the runner-up. Next to him, Coach Wu and Zhu's Hitao hugged each other excitedly, their faces glowing red. Now there are 2 gold medals, 1 silver medal, and the men's team got a bronze medal. Although the men's team won the bronze medal, it also achieved a self-breakthrough. But compared with the results of the women's team, they look bleak. Although the men's team had a lot of finalists. In the subsequent competitions, He Tiantian won medals without exception, and they were gold medals. There are now 6 gold medals. Coach Wu, from being excited at the beginning, now thinks it is normal. Even if he didn't win the gold medal in the last relay event, he would be satisfied. It's just that people are greedy. Because He Tiantian is here, Coach Wu still hopes to get a medal, even a bronze medal. The freestyle 4*100-meter relay race starts soon. The first one is Sci-fi, the second one is Yu Jingjing, and the third one is Jiao Lihong. The third stick is He Tiantian. At the end of the first leg, Sci-fi was in third place. In the second leg, she was in fourth place. Although Jiao Lihong was mean and petty, her swimming speed was still relatively fast, and she caught up with her from fourth place. Third place. But the first place was already more than 10 meters away. At this time, Sci-fi, Jiao Lihong, and others, as well as Coach Wu, were all waiting anxiously, hoping that He Tiantian could use his super speed to overtake. However, the 3 teams in front are all very strong. The last sticks are all very fast. This is the 100-meter relay, and everyone is swimming as hard as they can. He Tiantian no longer thinks about being first, she only thinks about accelerating, as fast as possible. Going all out to accelerate can make He Tiantian feel incomparably refreshed. Coach Wu was so anxious that he was sweating all over. If he got more than 1, he would get a bronze medal. If he got more than 2, he would get a silver medal. As for getting a gold medal if he got more than the first place, he no longer dared to think about it. He Tiantian caught up with the third place when he was about to turn around, and then used his turn and the super strength of his thighs to directly throw away the third place and become the third place, running to catch up with the second place. They were getting closer little by little, just 50 meters away, and everyone held their breath. When he was still 10 meters away from the key point, He Tiantian was still half a body away from second place. As long as I go faster, I can get second place. As for the first place, He Tiantian felt that she could not catch up. She had only 5 meters left to reach the finish line. Come on, He Tiantian encourages herself. To outsiders, He Tiantian and the second place arrived at the same time. At this time, everyone looked at the timer and the image data taken underwater. He Tiantian arrived first at the critical moment and became second. Silver medal, everyone was excited. Although they did not win the championship, the performance of He Tiantian and other team members was already very good. Although Jiao Lihong and He Tiantian didn't get along, she was still very excited at this time. After all, this is a team award, and she can also get the silver medal for her efforts. Throughout the World Championships, divers won 2 gold medals, 1 silver medal, and 3 bronze medals. Swimming team, their results this time are really impressive. Combined, the men's and women's teams won a total of 6 gold medals, 3 silver medals, and 4 bronze medals. He Tiantian's results not only caused a sensation domestically, but also made a sensation internationally. Except for the 1,500-meter freestyle, which did not break the record, he won the championship with record-breaking results in all other events. Coupled with He Tiantian's figure and appearance, it caused an uproar abroad and many reports were made about He Tiantian. When He Tiantian looked at the foreign newspapers and local Chinese newspapers handed over by her brother, He Tiantian was stunned. Swimming Barbie. At this age, He Tiantian was compared to Barbie, which she couldn't accept. It's also good to use the swimming queen. Don't make fun of them. Those foreigners are just looking for trouble. What do you call them, Barbie? It's so gross. They should be called the Queen of Swimming, He Tiantian said with a proud smile. Okay, I can't understand the content here either, take it aside quickly. That's right, my sister is the queen, he Daodu said. By the way, sister, I can't go back to the country with you. I have some things to do. When the time comes, I will come back from the United States. He Tian nodded and said, okay, according to your time, the summer vacation is long anyway, you can arrange it freely. After that, He Jingyu, Wang Shuping and Bai Qianjiao played with He Tian for 2 days and had to part ways. Because the national team game is over and we have to go back. As the biggest contributor, He Tian must attend the celebration party. After returning to China, Huo Yingzhe personally picked him up at the airport. Head coach, I will arrive at the venue on time tomorrow. Seeing Huo Yingzhe waiting not far away, He Tian quickly talked to the head coach, otherwise Huo Yingzhe would come and catch her. After hearing this, Coach Wu said with a smile, okay, then you go back first and have a good rest. You must be there at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Coach Wu also saw Huo Yingzhe, and thought that He Tian had children and a family, and it was natural for her husband to be away from home for such a long time. Originally, the family had everything. If He Tian's husband objected to He Tian's participation in the competition, then his hope of achieving another good result in the Olympics would be dashed. Furthermore, if He Tian has achievements, other things can be accommodated. Huo Yingzhe came over and faced Coach Wu. Zhu Zhitao nodded and said, goodbye. Then he took He Tian's hand and turned to leave. Coach Wu looked at the two people not far away. The pretty woman raised her head slightly and kept talking to the handsome man beside her. The man turned slightly sideways, as if listening to the woman. When the two of them walk together, even if they are just holding hands, they can feel their very good relationship. Haha, Xiaozhu, you should go home directly, Coach Wu said to Zhu Zhitao next to him. You have been working very hard during this period, so go back and have a good rest. Zhu Zhitao smiled, nodded, and said, thank you, head coach. Haha, you're welcome. You are all young people, and I am an old man. Coach Wu smiled, but it's okay today. I sent people to the training center, and it's time to go home and see my old lady. Haha, you and mistress are both young. Zhu Zhitao flattered her. Besides, mistress is so pretty, she will definitely not be happy when you call her an old woman. Haha, I am an old man, and she is an old woman. Coach Wu was in a happy mood and was happy to joke with the people below. This result has made him happy for half a year, and he has some confidence in the 1988 Olympics. Zhu Zhitao greeted the others and hurried home. Less than 2 months after their wedding, he left home because he missed his wife so much. Even if Coach Wu doesn't say anything, he will find a way to take leave and go home early. Thank you for yesterday's update. Yours Winding and Winding Life, Su Touching and other readers' rewards, thank you. 10 more updates, please subscribe to the official version. Oh, mathematical intersection symbol. Mathematical intersection symbol, thank you. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1031. 1029. Huo Yingzhe picked up He Tian. The two arrived at school together to pick up their 2 sons and daughters. Huo Xiaosan's Yaheng class finished school early. She was waiting for her family to pick her up at the school gate. When she saw He Tian, she stretched out her chubby hand from the gate and said, "Mom, Mom." As for the father whom he saw every day, Huo Xiaosan had long ignored him. He Tian and Huo Yingzhe came over, hugged Huo Xiaosan, greeted the teacher, and the couple went to the elementary school to pick up the 2 older children. When He Tian left, the young teacher felt that He Tian looked familiar. Oh my God, it turned out to be He Tian, the recent champion. I wanted to say a few words, but the parent had already left. Mistress, have you been naughty lately? He Tian hugged Huo Xiaosan, have you made dad angry? Have you made grandma Wang unhappy? No, no. Huo Xiaosan's little head shook like a rattle, really not, Xiaosan is very obedient. Well, dad also said that the mistress is very good. He Tian praised, when we get home, mom will give the mistress a reward. Mom is so kind. Huo Xiaosan kissed her mother. He Tian smiled and said, seeing as you are so good, I will let you pick 2 more when the time comes. After hearing this, Huo Xiaosan hugged her mother's neck with her little chubby hand, and kissed her mother's cheek and nose. Huo Yingzhe watched from the side, wishing he could take Huo Xiaosan out and replace him with him. When we arrived at the gate of the primary school, school was over in 10 minutes. He Tian did not stay in the car, but chose to wait at the door. I hope that when the child runs to the door, he can see her at first sight. As the bell rang, each class lined up and came out one by one. Parents came forward to pick up their children. Huo Xiaosan was held in her arms by her mother. She stood tall and could see far, and soon saw her brothers and sisters in the team. Brother, sister. Huo Xiaosan shouted, hoping that his brother and sister could hear him. Huo Ruwa and Huo Ruiman's eyes lit up when they saw He Tian. They wanted to leave the team and run out first, but looking at the teacher and monitor in front of them, they had no choice but to be honest. If you don't obey and don't line up, you won't get the certificate of Sanyasheng at the end of the semester. Goodbye, teacher. Huo Ruwa and Huo Ruiman saw that it was their turn, said to the teacher, and ran out. He Tian smiled and said, Teacher Zhang, thank you for your hard teaching. Teacher Zhang was stunned when he saw He Tian, and then said excitedly, it's not hard, it's not hard, it's what I should do. Ruiman's mother, can you give me an autographed photo? Now He Tian is her idol. He Tian nodded and said, okay, I'll give it to you tomorrow when I come to see the child off. Thank you, Teacher Zhang was as excited as a little fan, watching He Tian and his family leave. Got in the car and arrived home soon. Because He Tian came back today, Mr. Huo, Mrs. Huo, Song Chunli, Zhao Huan, Huo Yingjun, Qi Xiaoyan, Zhang Wenwen, and others who were familiar with each other were all invited by Huo Yingzhe. Everyone gathered together, waiting to cleanse He Tian. When He Tian arrived at home and saw so many people, she was a little excited and said, thank you all for coming here to greet me. I really miss you out there. Qi Xiaoyan came up excitedly, held He Tian's hand and said, Sister Tian, why are you so good? No matter what you do, you are so good. Haha, it's just a coincidence. He Tian said modestly, don't make such a fuss. No, you are excellent, absolutely excellent. Qi Xiaoyan said, you are the most outstanding person I have ever seen. Zhang Wenwen stepped forward, wrinkled her nose, and said, cousin, the clothes you athletes wear when they receive awards are really ugly. Fortunately, my cousin is good looking, so it doesn't affect your beauty. Cousin, I want to design sports for you myself. Clothes. Yuan Hua came over and said with a smile, design one. Those special fabrics for sportswear are not easy to sell. Why not set up a sports brand, design it well, and then find our big champion to endorse it? It will definitely become an instant hit. Zhang Wenwen's eyes lit up after hearing this. Now the brand's women's clothing has been doing very well, and men's clothing has also started. If sportswear is added, there will be 3 brands. With her design ability and cousin-in-law's popularity, she will definitely be a great success. Yeah, okay. Zhang Wenwen nodded, that's a good idea. When he saw those articles in the newspaper, Yuan Hua was also very excited, inspired, and wrote many beautiful poems. A few friends talked for a while and then let He Tian enter the room. Tian, well done, Mr. Huo said. He was very proud. The leader personally called him over and told him about his grandson's wife. This time, because of He Tian's outstanding performance, other countries also recognized the style of Waxia. He Tian smiled and said, "Haha, thank you for the compliment, Grandpa." "This is not a compliment, this is a fact," Mrs. Huo said, because of her granddaughter-in-law, who doesn't envy her now. "This is a champion." Seeing that her father-in-law and mother-in-law had finished speaking, Song Chunli asked curiously, Tian, I want to ask you, is your gold medal pure gold or gold-plated?" "It's a great atmosphere, why do you ask such a philistine question?" Huo Zhe laughed dryly. Tian, please ignore your aunt, after all, the gold medal honor is greater than its own value. I was very curious at first, so after I got the gold medal, I took a bite." He Tian smiled, "It's not pure gold, it's mixed with other things, but the gold content is just higher." "Haha, I'm just curious," Song Chunli said with a smile, "when I chat with people in the future, I can confidently tell them that it is not pure gold." Huo Jekan shook his head and was speechless. Is this common sense? Seeing that He Tian was in good condition, Zhao Huan nodded and said, Tian, you really impressed us. We thought you were just playing for fun, but we didn't expect you to play so big. It's just for fun." He Tian smiled, "I prefer swimming and enjoy the process of competition." Huo Yingjun is very proud. Now he is about to become the ambassador to South Korea, just in time for the 1988 Olympics. By then, if his sister-in-law still participates, he will definitely go there to cheer for her. The family was talking and laughing, and they didn't stop until Lu Wangzia came over and said the meal was ready. After dinner, we chatted for a long time before leaving. In the dead of night, Huo Yingja looked sideways at He Tian sleeping soundly. Originally, he wanted to wait for her all night, but he felt sorry for her, so he only wanted her once and let her have a good rest. We will update more at the request of the editor and thank the readers. Kikai hopes to get your support and genuine subscription. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1032. 1030. Alas, Huo Yingja couldn't sleep. He deduced that He Tian and Yu had a chance, but he didn't know what kind of chance it was. Anyway, it's not just about winning the gold medal, it's superficial like winning the championship, but there may be some things to do in the future. Huo Yingja didn't understand, so he could only arrange more people to protect He Tian. There are some things that cannot be avoided by just hiding. If you avoid this time, there will be greater setbacks waiting next time. It is better to be prepared first, control things within a certain range, and reduce risks. The next day, after He Tian felt refreshed and had breakfast, he took the signed photo prepared last night, sent his children to school, and gave the signed photo to teacher Zhang. Afterwards, Huo Yingja sent He Tian to work. Kui Ying is on vacation. Wei Yuan drove behind. When we arrived at the training center, everyone was chatting and laughing easily. Even though some people did not get medals, it became easier because of the upcoming holidays. He Tian brought a big box from home, which contained a lot of snacks. Yesterday, she specially sent someone to Sanfan Bridge to buy it. Girls all like to eat snacks. Now that we have a holiday, we can do whatever we want for a few days. Sci-fi I saw the big box that He Tian brought over and asked curiously, Sister He, what do you have in this? He Tian smiled and said, these are snacks. The competition is over and there are not so many taboos anymore. I treat everyone to eat. Oh, it's from Sanfan Kiao Sci-fi I said excitedly, the dim sum here is very expensive, but it tastes really good. I like it the most. It's just that my salary is low, so I can only eat some occasionally. He Tian smiled and said, if conditions permit, I'll treat you to it. The girls ate snacks and drank coffee together. Seeing that the meeting was about to begin, I put the things away and continued eating after the meeting. At the celebration party, director Liao was talking and laughing with Coach Wu. Because of the outstanding performance of the swimming team, the General Administration of Sports was also surprised. In order to reward the athletes, the Bureau prepared a lot of bonuses this time. Winning the gold medal will give you a bonus of 1,000 yuan and a bicycle. The 500 yuan bonus for winning the silver medal and a bicycle. The bronze medal bonus was 300 yuan and a bicycle. So when receiving the award, He Tiantian was dumbfounded. Not only did she have 6,500 yuan, she also had 7 bicycles in her hand. He Tiantian stopped riding a bicycle after learning to drive a car. 7 bicycles arrived at once, and He Tiantian didn't know what to do with them. Anyway, if you give it, take it home. Her family doesn't need it, so she can give it to Lao Guo, Lu Wangxia, Wei Yuan, and others as rewards. Finally, Coach Wu asked He Tiantian to speak on stage. He Tiantian just said a few words casually, thanking the leader for his encouragement and thanking the coach for his guidance. After it was over, it was time to celebrate. There was still some time before the banquet, and He Tiantian and others started eating snacks again. Jiao Lihong previously won the silver medal in the team competition because of He Tiantian's efforts. She was very happy and felt better about He Tiantian. But this time at the celebration party, it was He Tiantian who took the stage to speak, which made her feel sad again. Bored. Especially when I heard that He Tiantian had 6 gold medals, I was even more upset. Her best result was 2 silver medals, one of which was the team award because of He Tiantian's credit. Just thinking about it makes me feel sick. Is the gap between her and He Tiantian that big? Jiao Lihong sat at the table next to He Tiantian and felt uncomfortable when she saw He Tiantian and others talking and laughing. But she could only be angry in her heart, and could not go against He Tiantian in front of everyone. Because He Tiantian is now the most prestigious person in the team. If she badmouths He Tiantian, others will only hate her, not He Tiantian. This celebration banquet passed with He Tiantian and others in full bloom and with Jiao Lihong and Cai Fenfang jealous and complaining. After that, it's the holidays. Everyone went back to their respective homes to find their respective mothers. He Tiantian also started his own vacation, waiting for He Daodu to return to China. Huo Yingjia and the children were on vacation, and their family was about to start this year's summer vacation. Sure enough, He Tiantian didn't have to wait too long. He Daodu returned to China and Huo Yingjia took a vacation and went to Qijia village for vacation together. Also following this time were Yuan Hua and Zhu's Hitao. The tourism project in Qijia village is going very well, and factories with heavy pollution are no longer allowed to open nearby. At the same time, Secretary Qi pays special attention to the environment, so peach trees have been transplanted and planted on both sides of Kunli and Yingbin Road. Now Qijia village has the most peach trees. In spring, the peach blossoms bloom, which is very beautiful. Collecting peach blossoms can be used to make peach blossom wine, which is a specialty of the village. Therefore, by chance, Qijia village invested and opened a winery in Hujia village next door, specifically for brewing peach blossom wine and chrysanthemum wine. In summer, it is covered with peaches. The former livestock team has now become the location of the tourist attractions office, with checkpoints set up at the foot of the mountain to sell tickets. The mining of the back mountain is not extensive, it is done very delicately. It is to dig out a stone road 1 or 2 meters wide all the way up, winding to the top of the mountain. Along this mountain road, it branches out, and there are many scenic spots. For example, more than a dozen scenic spots, large and small, have begun to take shape, such as hot springs, peach garden, Shenlong temple, tea house, sun viewing platform, etc. After arriving, the family started exploring the back mountains. After playing for half a month, I said goodbye to Grandma Chi-san and left, and then went to Nanji. However, Huo Yingzhe only stayed in Nanxi for 3 days before returning to Yanjing. His vacation was over. He Tiantian enjoys her current life very much, including leisure, passion and excitement. A little tired, but very fulfilling. Besides, she was not tired of being tired like this. On the contrary, after a good sleep, she would become refreshed. The vacation was over, and He Tiantian returned to Yanjing with her children. He Tiantian started training. However, in September, he will go to Seoul, South Korea to participate in the Asian Games. As a main player, He Tiantian has a heavy task. Coach Wu and Zhu's Hitao often do the work and let He Tiantian work hard. He Tiantian agreed, working really hard and enjoying the pleasure of breaking through the limits again and again. The Asian Games is less competitive than the World Championships, but it is also the most important event in Asia. This year it is held in Seoul, South Korea. Coach Wu and Zhu's Hitao are bound to win medals. A tense atmosphere enveloped everyone, who were all training hard to achieve good results. Now He Tiantian has given everyone the illusion that as long as she applies for the project, others will only pursue the second-place silver medal. Faced with such a powerful figure as He Tiantian, Xie Fei, 11 Rong, and Lu Yuhua trained more diligently and improved their performance. They will be able to compete and win medals in future competitions. Jiao Lihong is also working hard, hoping to win the gold medal and break her record of no gold medal.